Hello, all, and welcome. I'm going to talk today about Alpha and Omega series by Patricia Briggs. I'm author Daniel Coolbaugh. I run the Fantasy and Sci-Fi Fanatics podcast. This is my new author channel, and I just wanted to let you guys know. I did talk a little bit about Mercy Thompson, her other series through Patricia Briggs. I also talked about Hounded, as well as Hex and Hammered. So I talked about Iron Druid Chronicles on another video. So please make sure you check out Kevin's work. I met him. He's an amazing guy, and really great books. An amazing author. I talked about the Dresden Files, Jim Butcher's series, and a bunch of other books and series that I'm just checking. I want you guys to check out. Things I've read and really enjoyed. And then I talked already, like I said, about Patricia Briggs' Mercy Thompson series. I love this series. So please make sure you check out the other videos. Please let me know if you've read those, what you thought in the comments section of those videos. But I actually had lent my copies, I just realized, to my buddy. He was doing a reread of Alpha and Omega. So I actually don't have them physically with me to show you, but you can check out the covers, much like Mercy Thompson. They're some of my favorite urban fantasy covers. My buddy actually got me the last book, Wild Sign, and this was a really cool. I actually have to get this framed this weekend. I've been talking about doing this for forever, but I do want to show you guys. My buddy Dan got this for me for my birthday, and this is actually signed by the artist. And this is like an amazing cover. It's my favorite cover of the series for Alpha and Omega. So this one he did a little reds. The other one actually has some like blues. I'm actually getting this matted and framed this weekend. And then I'm redoing my basement, so I'm actually putting it up. But I love the books. All the Mercy Thompson books I really enjoyed. Like, don't get me wrong, but she just does something a little bit different with the Alpha and Omega series. So it follows Anna, who's a werewolf, and Charles. Charles is actually Charles and Anna, but particularly Charles, are in the Mercy Thompson books. So there's some crossover in the universe with them, in some minor roles and things like that between the books. You'll see Mercy pop up in Alpha and Omega every so often as like a guest character, and it's always really interesting, I think, to see how Patricia Briggs writes the two like storylines. It's all the same world. It's all the same really like characters or groups of characters. Same like magic system and stuff. But whereas Mercy is a shapeshifter, like a coyote shifter, sorry, and the werewolves in the books are like the same group of werewolves and same magic system. In Alpha and Omega, you get Anna and Charles, who are both werewolves in the same pack. You just get a very different sense of the magic system. It's hard to explain unless you read the books, I think. So I should have thought of this ahead of time. I apologize. But I like that it's different and you get a different perspective. Charles has some different magic on top of being a werewolf. And he's one of the coolest characters. Like, if you like those Jack Reacher like characters, like he's the werewolf version of Jack Reacher, and he's just awesome, and I loved him in Mercy Thompson. So I love that we got to expand his character and see exactly how he does the things that he does. He's kind of like the boogeyman, or the John Wick of the werewolves. So we learn about him in Mercy Thompson, and then in Alpha and Omega, he's the main character. And he's such a different character than Mercy. He's such a different character than Mercy's partner Adam in the Mercy Thompson series. And it's really interesting. And I would say like him and Anna have a much different relationship. And it's just really, really interesting. And I always find it interesting how she writes Anna and Charles versus Mercy and Adam. And it's interesting also to see the differences in the female leads. So the differences between Anna and Mercy, they share a lot of common characteristics as these strong female leads. But at the same time, they're very different people. And that's one thing I really like about the two series. And they handle problems differently. They see the world a little differently, but they're both trying to do the right thing and help protect the people that they love and care about. And they both are really big thinkers, and solve problems in unique ways. But they do it very differently. And I wasn't expecting that, if that makes sense, in the Alpha and Omega series, because I had read Mercy Thompson first and I had seen them. I'm like, whatever. And yeah, it was just really interesting to really dive in. And like the last three, I would say, particularly Wild Sign for Alpha and Omega, were some of my favorite books in the urban fantasy genre. And Patricia Briggs now like publishes a Mercy Thompson book, but she had like, I think like six or seven. I know, ironic, right? Mercy Thompson books, maybe like eight before she started the Alpha and Omega series. So then she'd release a, she now will release a Mercy Thompson and then like Alpha and Omega and then a Mercy Thompson. So she switches back and forth. And I think it has something to do the greatness, I think, of the writing Alpha and Omega. I think she learned from previous mistakes, which aren't many in my opinion, from Mercy Thompson. And she tells just some amazing urban fantasy stories with the last three books. And it's absolutely incredible when you look at somebody's writing career. She's a lot like R.A. Salvatore, I would say. If you look at R.A. Salvatore's beginning work, really, really creative, really awesome, but totally different when you get to like midway in his career, and just like better books, right? And that is actually super helpful for the Alpha and Omega series, in my opinion, because when she started Cry Wolf, which is book one, Alpha and Omega, that's when really she was, in my opinion, she was hitting her stride with the Mercy Thompson as well. Like the other ones were really good. Like I absolutely love book one, Moon Called, but you know, once you get into like Frostburn and some of the other ones, which is, and I like Bone Crossed, really. So she had quite a few of these and her other like fantasy series. I think there's two different fantasy series set in her same world that she had before this. So she wrote quite a few books before even Mercy Thompson, and then quite a few more than that with Alpha and Omega. And to me, the experience really shines through there. And again, it's in the same world, same type of magic system with the werewolves, but you just get a different sense because, like I said, like Adam and who's in Mercy Thompson and Charles, who's Anna's husband, they're like significant others. Sorry, they are just very different, and you get just a very different perspective from the two female and male leads, and ends up creating a much different story. And I like Alpha and Omega because like Anna and Charles are kind of like the supernatural couple, and it's kind of like crime noir at times in an urban fantasy setting, if that makes sense, and they solve like these mysteries, and it's Patricia Briggs does like mystery elements in an urban fantasy setting, in my opinion, sorry everybody else, better than anybody. And or maybe it's just how I like those mystery elements in an urban fantasy world and setting with characters, I don't know, but I love the mixture that she uses. And the last few books, the way she has written for both series, she's not doing the same thing every time, and she's really challenging herself, which makes it really interesting because you don't know what type of book you're going to get. You know you're going to get Mercy, you know you're going to get Anna and Charles, but like, and their ensembles, which she writes secondary characters better than anybody I've ever seen, in my opinion. And it helps you fly through the books. But like, it is amazing how she wrote Wild Sign, her latest Alpha and Omega, and how she wrote her last, I'm like blanking on what the last one was, but I really, really liked it, for Mercy Thompson, and I liked it so much I read it in like 3.5 hours, and she told each of those stories very, very differently. And it's crazy because she's not using the same mold. Like a lot of people, you know, you get in, you tell the recap, you do the thing, you know, but like I'm so excited now for the next two. So the next Mercy Thompson book, as well as next Alpha and Omega. Alpha and Omega is coming up next, I believe, first. But like usually she releases them like August, early September. And I'm just so excited because I don't know what type of books we're going to get. Like I don't know how she's going to tell the story. It's not going to be the same old, same old. Particularly the last three in each series have been very unique and unique to each other in the other series. So I am like super, super excited to see what she brings to the table. The more I do these videos, the more I'm like, okay, I got to go do reread of Hounded at least, and Moon Called, all right, and Cry Wolf. And probably Stormfront too, to be quite honest with Jim Butcher, even though it's not a favorite of some people, but I really like that story, just because I love these stories, I love these characters, and between Mercy Thompson and Anna and Charles for Alpha and Omega, like there's some of my favorite characters, and I'll be honest, like Patricia Briggs probably has my favorite urban fantasy setting, to be quite honest, and I really love what she does. She took in one of the Alpha and Omega, one of the latest books, she took her knowledge of horses, which is very extensive, by the way, and she like melded that into one of the most complex and interesting storylines I've ever read. And it was absolutely amazing. So I definitely think you guys should check out both series. You will not be disappointed. If you have read them in the past, please let me know. Please, check out the subscribe link right there. If you guys could subscribe to this channel, I'm going to keep talking about urban fantasy books, series. I'm going to start branching into comics too. And eventually I'm going to start interviewing urban fantasy authors on this channel and readers and booktubers that love urban fantasy. So we'll have some cool chats. So please do me a favor, share with whoever you know. If they love urban fantasy, please check out my own stuff. You can find my social links below, www.authordanielcoolbaugh.com. You can find me at Facebook on my author profile page there. You can just search author Daniel Coolbaugh. You can find me really like anywhere, Bluesky, TikTok, Instagram, X, those kinds of things. And if you've read these books, or you enjoyed them, or you've read Patricia Briggs' other works, please let me know in the comment section. I can't wait to hear what you guys think. Hope you guys have a great rest of the day, and as always, happy reading, my friends. See you guys.